Y'all, look at this. Look at that seed mess bin. What does that mean?
Messy mom.
Messy mom. Well, I was gonna say almost garden time, but also yes, messy mom. That's also true here. Actually, it means I shot this video today and I was planning on editing and putting it up today, but by the end of shooting it, it was a long video and I realized I am not in the mental capacity to edit that today after talking that long. It's a long video. Talking all about seeds, sourcing, and what I'm planting this year. So I decided I'll shoot a vlog for today and I'll edit that to go up the next time. But this package just got delivered and Benjamin is one excited boy to employ his new
pocket knife.
All right, farm boy, open up our package that came from Miss Jen. With some nice knife safety. Very good. Okay. All right, make sure I'm not blasting my address to the world. So my friend Jen owns a store in Arkansas called Squisito. You guys see these oils all the time. It's where I got them, and I used to go shopping in there when I lived there. But she sent me a care package of lovely oils. Oh, cute. She got some stickers. And I'm about to make you guys our snack that we like so much. It comes from her. Popcorn.
Oh.
I'm going to show you guys, because if you are snacky and you have snacky kids, you should not forsake stovetop popcorn, because it is so easy and so good. And I get this stuff from her, and this is my favorite popcorn in the world. And I'm gonna show you guys. Hey, yeah, you're right, look. How about that? That's cute, huh? You think that, oh, you pouring it out? All right, I'm gonna show you guys this. It's super easy. I just make it on the stovetop. Jen sent me this set, I don't know, a couple years ago, because she watched the channel and she sent it to my P.O. box in Arkansas. And I made this popcorn, this set that she had put together with these flavors. And it is my favorite popcorn that I've ever had. And I have made it regularly since then. I have not been without this. I've given this as gifts so many times. I messaged her about a week and a half ago and I was like, hey, just a heads up. You know, I mean, I always have this stuff. I have... Before I moved, I stocked up on it because I wanted to make sure I had these particular ingredients. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put this in a vlog, because I get asked all the time, like, what do you guys eat? And this is one of those kind of whole food snacks that I eat. I make it at home. So much better for you than doing like microwave popcorn. I wanted her to be prepared because I knew I was going to talk about it. She said, well, hey, y'all, this is kind of solidified because it was sitting out on my front porch and it's cold. She gave me a code for you guys to be able to use. It's called Roots for 10% off of her shop, which was really cool. She was very appreciative that I was going to mention this, and I just want to show it to you. So I think she actually like has measurements of what she uses for this. But I'm just going to tell you what I do. I just put like a thin layer of this oil on the bottom of a pan. This is my favorite popcorn pan because it's really lightweight. You know, I like to cook in cast iron, but it's not really necessarily the best for this. You can totally pop popcorn in cast iron, but I find that this is easier for me to maneuver. So I put a layer of oil on the bottom of a pan. This is the butter oil, butter flavored oil that she has. A layer of popcorn, which in this pan is about half a cup, I think, maybe like a third to a half a cup. But you just want kind of like a single layer on the bottom of the pan. Then shake it to get it coated in that oil and turn the heat on underneath it, like medium high, and put the lid on. And this is so fast. So what I do is I just let it sit here until I hear that first pop. And I'll show you this, but I'm going to kind of narrate it now while it's not loud. And I'm going to start shaking it like this on the stovetop. Of course, I have like a glass stove. Another reason that I like to use a light pan for this, because you don't want to be scraping cast iron on top of a glass stove. Oh, I gotta take the lid off my sourdough. And then once this is popped, so I just sit here and shake it and let it pop once it starts going. just like that, until the popping kind of settles down. You don't want to burn it. And then here's the secret ingredient, okay, well, this is good popcorn. This is like organic, but the butter oil, and then on top of it is this black truffle sea salt. Now, truffle is kind of a funky flavor, but in this sea salt and on this popcorn, it is just right. All of my kids eat it. My picky husband eats it. I mean, everybody I've ever made this for is like, oh my gosh, that popcorn is so good. Obviously, I like these ingredients. This really is my favorite. But I do want to remind you of stovetop popcorn with whatever popcorn you might have access to. I also use this oil and salt with a red popping corn, heirloom popping corn I get. But stovetop popcorn is actually a pretty good like whole grain snack that if you make it with quality ingredients, it doesn't have a bunch of bad stuff in it, it doesn't have preservatives in it, it doesn't take a lot of time, it doesn't make a big mess. And if you got a bunch of snacky kids, it's definitely something that fills the hungry hole, like on an after school snack that doesn't require a lot from you. It just started popping, so I'm gonna keep an eye on the clock to see exactly how long it takes to pop this. It took about 4 minutes to get it to heat. This may be unnecessary to move it the whole time, but I don't like burnt popcorn, so I take this very seriously. If your pan gets hot, depending on what the shape is, you might need like an oven mitt or something. It's been popping for 1 minute and 15 seconds. I know this is basic, and for some of you guys who've been doing like the real food thing for a long time, you're like, are you serious? You're showing people how to make stovetop popcorn? But guys, like, I'm a millennial. We have to keep in mind that like some people for real were not raised eating real food, and like my mom used to make popcorn like this when I was little, but look at that. But for some people it is a revelation. We should encourage people. There is a big pot full of a snack. I barely made a dent in this oil. I barely made a dent in this bag of popcorn. And think about that, like when you think of, so I'm gonna salt this, not a whole lot, like truffles, they just have a strong flavor. That's why there's very little of, like, you can see the truffle specks in here, and it's not a lot, and it really does add a lot of flavor. But I usually just go ahead and salt it right in this pan. And the oil that cooks in causes that to stick pretty well. If you want more of the flavor of the oil, you can just put more in on the beginning and let it cook in more oil. And then we actually just serve up individual bowls to eliminate any hey, he got more than me fights that do inevitably pop up in the presence of tasty snacks. Here, dude. Mom. You're welcome, baby. Hey, what do you think about that popcorn?
It's good.
It's good?
But it sounds good.
You have a great voice. People's voices sound different in their head than they do like to other people and on like recordings and stuff.
I'm still not done, guys. I got distracted.
Do you want a bowl of popcorn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Here, Toby.
Okay.
Ben, do you want some?
Is it hot?
Yeah, it's hot. I just finished it. You want a bowl?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Hot, 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 hot.
It is hot. So as I was saying, like, I want to point out even like simple things. That's like a really easy way for people to offer like a real food snack to their kids or for themselves whenever I consider how many pots that size of popcorn I have popped out of like a single bag of that, a single jar of oil or salt or whatever. It just doesn't take that much to make something like that. But it's so easy to draw a blank whenever you're just not in the habit of making stuff like that. So here I'm actually making some focaccia bread. Oh, bless you. This is not sourdough. This is new to me, something I'm just experimenting. This is actually a yeast dough focaccia, and I have been playing with sourdough focaccia, and I am just trying to figure out if this is something I'll like. So I just Googled it and found a recipe and made this last night. So you're supposed to let it sit in the fridge for at least 12, but up to 72 hours. It's been in there for 24, and I've got to let it rise again here. Out of the fridge. I think that's supposed to emulate kind of like the fermentation of sourdough by letting the dough sit in the fridge for that long, but we'll see if it's any good. I was sharing my secret popcorn with our YouTube friends. You made a little mess there.
I was gonna eat it.
You're still dropping them. But I made sure to get more before I shared it so that it wouldn't sell out. I did also give her a heads up. I've learned from my mistakes. I don't talk about seeds until I have my seeds ordered, and I don't talk about things until I have enough, because I have had so many times now, I have had to learn the hard way that sometimes I will share about things on here and then I can't get them again. Like I think it was last year in my garden, like I did not have a lot of my favorite things because I have made so many videos about my favorite seeds that now I know, and I get my seeds and order my stuff like as soon as it's released because I'm competing against what I've created.
Very good.
Jackson put some more oil and salt because he said it needed more.
Oh yeah.
What did you say you did with the salt?
Oh, I put it on steak.
You put it on a steak? That was pretty good?
It was good.
Jackson, my little cooking boy. The hamburger steak was good today?
I love it.
You love it? I'm glad.
I like yours better, Mom.
You like mine better? Oh. Good point.
Mom, I ate every single bit on my plate.
That's very good. Good morning, you guys. It is the next morning. It is a chilly morning in the Midlands of South Carolina. So I think last night was probably like the coldest night we will have this winter, which I was talking to my friend Sunflower Steve yesterday. Of course, he lives up in like the frigid north, whereas it is like extraordinarily cold. And I told him that we had our coldest night last night and that it was 25 degrees. So it was at like -3 Celsius. And he laughed and laughed. Here we are. My little olive oil container is somehow displaced. Somebody is going to grab some more. I put olive oil on my hands before I milk just because it helps to moisturize her teats and just the skin on her udder and keeps from friction, especially when it's cold. So we actually have snow in our forecast this weekend. And it is so funny because I'm from Arkansas. Arkansas is, I always considered Arkansas the South. Arkansas considers itself the South. People who are from the old South, like this side of the country, they consider Arkansas the Midwest, and they just imagine it to be like a very cold place. It's not. Arkansas is as hot as South Carolina during the summer. The thing is, it does get colder there in the winter. It freezes more and gets more winter precipitation, though not a lot. I thought like the snow days would be similar. You know, you get like 4 or 5 inches of snow in Arkansas and it like shuts the schools down, all that stuff. I was not prepared. Like, we have here in South Carolina, we have a forecast of snow. It's not a snow forecast, it's a wintry mixed forecast. The low is barely at freezing that night. The high is 40 degrees, 4 Celsius. So the next day, the high is 45 and sunny. And so like, the most that's gonna happen is snow may fall from the sky and freeze briefly at night, but it'll probably be thawed out by like 10 in the morning. Guys, it's pandemonium here. Like the stores are like selling out of bread and milk. And I'm just like, wow, really? So I had to call Jill, my friend Jill, with Spring Willow Farm, Jill and Nate, who bought our house in Arkansas, because they're flying out here this weekend and we are having them out for the weekend. And I had to call her and just be like, I just wanted to let you know just so you had all the information, but we have winter weather on our forecast on Sunday. I was like, I don't really understand that it's an issue, but everybody keeps asking me what I'm doing to prepare for the snow. And from what I understand, it's just gonna fall. I don't know that it's really gonna stick. And if it does stick, it's gonna be gone in a matter of about 12 hours, But I just wanted you to know, I don't think that it'll mess with your travel plans, but just so you know what you're coming into. And so I just wasn't prepared for that. I thought that it would be the same, but apparently any snowfall is like a very, very big deal here because it's a pretty rare thing. Hope's like, why are you just sitting there talking and not milking me? She's like talking ugly at me. Well guys, I had a little technology snafu and I didn't realize it till I was editing just now that my camera was not recording. So I'm gonna have to repeat myself. Some of the stuff I said, but you guys have not heard yet because I wanted to complete my thought. So we're gotta go back outside and get the eggs. Now earlier, it's been a few hours ago before I milked, I was kind of talking about our impending weather. So last year in Arkansas, we were still in Arkansas, and we had some record-breaking cold weather. Of course, Texas did too, and it was literally, I mean, like catastrophic to get freezing and cold weather in places that don't have the infrastructure to deal with it. So like in part, people in the South freak out when there's a little bit of snow. And like this weekend, looking at the numbers, I hope this isn't one of these cases where I have to like eat my words later because the things I say are recorded. Probably it will be a complete non-issue. Probably we'll get some snow, maybe some ice, but it will be warm enough that it won't have time to cause a lot of destruction. But the thing is like when you think about in an area that never gets ice once brings down all the branches that are weak. It brings down all the power lines that are weak. It closes down roads in places where there's not like plows and infrastructure. Like, I mean, when you live in the South, I mean, like your city doesn't have plows. Don't need plows if it never snows. So I understand why people freak out. I do think this weekend is probably more excitement than actual necessity. I mean, like we probably don't need to go and do like extra bedding. Just the regular amount of bedding for the animals is fine. It's gonna be like 31 degrees. Just barely freezing. So I was editing and I realized that I had lost some clips and I wanted to clarify that rather than just closing off this video because, you know, that conversation came up a lot last year whenever the South was dealing with like unprecedented cold temperatures, because a lot of people are like, I cannot understand why everybody's freaking out, but it really is a matter of being unprepared. Oh, this fence is off. Good morning. Good morning. Well, it's late morning, but isn't this the most beautiful rooster? He's a Bielefelder. My friend Wes actually bred him, and he is so lovely. He may be one of my favorite roosters I've ever had. Oh goodness. Pretty sure that hen is broody. I don't really want a broody hen right now. Hey little lady. Nice little egg haul. Speaking of chickens. Oh, I thought that hen was coming at me, but it wasn't. Hey, go on. So speaking of chickens, I shot another video that I'm excited to share with you guys, going through Murray McMurray's catalog and talking about chicken breeds. That one will be up later this week also. This is such an exciting time of year. I know for us, like I already have chickens and I have a gardening experience, but even having all of this experience, even having done it all before, starting a lot of new things and starting fresh, it is so thrilling to me, and it's reminding me of back when I was starting everything for the first time. And I just love when you guys send me your messages and share that you're like getting into chickens for the first time, that you're hopping into gardening for the first time, and you share that excitement with me. It keeps it fresh for me. I remember how for years before I had chickens, I used to get Murray McMurray's catalog and like look through it. I would read every single detail about every single chicken. I would literally just spend hours reading the catalog, seed catalogs and the chicken catalogs. So much so that one winter when Jackson was like 5, of course now he's 16, he told Maya, I know what I want to get Mom for Christmas. I want to get her catalogs because she gets so excited when the catalogs come. So we had an unfortunate thing happen the other day. We had a real bad storm come through here with like really strong winds, and we hadn't latched the door the top of the chickshaw and it actually caught the wind and ripped the back off. So we have to fix that. The nest boxes aren't sitting quite flush. I mean, it's not stopping them. They don't seem bothered by it, but definitely something that's on the list. Oh, you guys already had some breakfast. This is my bucket of food. They're like following me. See ya. You know, the thing that I am most amazed at here, which I've been told that it still gets pretty gray here, but I just can't believe how even in the middle of winter, when we're having like the coldest nights that we will probably have here, it's still so like blue and green. It's not surprising that so much food is grown here. That's something that's different to me, like driving around this area where we live. Like you pass like fields of cabbage and kale because people grow that stuff throughout the winter because it doesn't get cold enough to damage it. And that is a really cool thing to me. I don't know, you know, driving past fields of tomatoes and peppers in the summer and brassicas in the winter is just extremely cool. Katie, where are you going? Katie girl, come on. All right guys, well, thank you for hanging out with me today. Though it is the middle of winter here in South Carolina, we are gearing into that time of year where there's so much more to show, and I love being able to turn the camera on more frequently and share what we're doing here to prepare to grow our food this year. I bless you guys. Until next time.